The wind dragged dust across the porch like it was trying to erase what happened. But it couldn't. Not this time. Clara May's bare feet bled as they pounded the dirt, each step a prayer, each gasp a goodbye. Her dress was torn, her lip split. The bruises across her ribs pulsed with every breath, but still she ran. Behind her, the door of the shack slammed open. Jed Colton's voice followed, soaked in whiskey and rage. "You run all you want, girl. Ain't no one out there gonna save you." She didn't look back. Not when he fired a shot in the air. Not when he stumbled off the porch, cursing God and everyone under him. The forest swallowed her like it knew she needed hiding. She ran until the pain overtook her, until her legs gave out and the cold ground felt merciful. She crawled under the drooping branches of an old willow, the same one her mama used to sit beneath before the fever took her. Clara pressed her body into the roots, trying to disappear. "Let Oblivion claim me," she whispered through cracked lips. "Better than going back." Thunder rolled overhead. Her breath turned shallow. She clutched the torn Bible page she'd hidden in her boot, the last thing her mama ever gave her. Jed had tried to burn it years ago. Funny, now it'd outlive her. Back at the shack, Jed lit another bottle, laughing to himself. "Stupid girl thinks she's got a say in this world." He spat into the fire. "She's mine. Always will be." But the wind didn't carry his words far. Out in the woods, the willow tree swayed like it was guarding something precious, and beneath it Clara's heartbeat slowed, her eyes closed. No footsteps came. No one knew. No one saw. And for a moment, just a cruel, silent moment, it seemed like Jed was right. She was alone. The night was coming. And the world didn't care. Not yet. Elias Brandt had seen plenty of death in his 60-odd years. Droughts, stampedes, the war that took his brother, but nothing ever stopped his pulse like what he found beneath the willow that morning. He'd set out before sunrise, riding slow across the northern ridge, reins loose in one hand, his rifle resting across his saddle. Dust, his old stallion, snorted uneasy as they neared the tree line. Something wasn't right. A scatter of broken branches, blood in the leaves. Elias dismounted, boots crunching over damp earth, his breath clouded in the cold air. He knelt, slowly, fingers brushing aside leaves, and there she was. A girl, barely more than 20, skin like ash, lips blue, bruises blooming down her neck like storm clouds. Her hands were curled tight around something. He pried one open gently, a singed Bible page streaked with blood. His heart skipped. "Lord, not today," he muttered. He pressed 2 fingers to her neck. Faint, a whisper of life, but still there. Careful as handling glass, Elias wrapped her in his coat, lifted her limp body into the saddle and climbed up behind her. The wind picked up as they turned back toward the ridge. "Hang on, girl," he said, voice rough with gravel and worry. "Ain't your time yet." Dust galloped hard, hooves hammering the frost-bitten dirt. The willow swayed behind them, watching them vanish into the folds of the hills. She stirred once. Barely. A whimper in her throat. Elias tightened his hold. "You're safe now," he said, though he wasn't sure it was true. He didn't know who she was, or what hell she came from, but something told him whoever left her to die wasn't far behind, and they sure as hell weren't finished. The cabin creaked as the wind pressed against its walls, but inside it was warm. Fire crackled low in the stone hearth, casting long shadows across the pine floor. Elias laid the girl on the old cot near the fire, her breath shallow, her body shaking despite the quilts layered over her. Martha moved fast. She always did. The ranch hand had been with Elias 20 years, and she didn't need to ask questions. Just brought hot water, clean cloth, and that stubborn kind of gentleness only women like her carried. "She's beat to hell," Martha whispered, running fingers over bruised ribs and a swollen eye. "What did this?" Elias didn't answer. He just stood in the corner, watching, jaw clenched so tight it ached. Clara stirred. Her eyes flickered open, then wide with panic. She scrambled back, weak arms flailing, a dry scream caught in her throat. "No, don't touch me, don't." "Easy, child," Martha said, soft but firm, placing a warm palm on Clara's shoulder. "You're safe now." The girl blinked hard, her breathing jagged, wild eyes searching the room. Then she saw Elias. She froze. His silhouette filled the doorway. Tall, broad-shouldered, worn hat pulled low, a hunting knife still strapped to his hip. To her, he looked like another shadow from her nightmares. "I ain't gonna hurt you," Elias said, voice low, even. She didn't answer, just stared, trembling. Martha turned back toward him. "Give her space. She don't know you. Hell, she don't know where she is." Elias gave a short nod and stepped out into the cold, leaving the door cracked behind him. Later, when the fire had burned low and Martha had gone to bed, Clara shifted under the quilts, her voice barely a whisper. "Why'd you help me?" Elias sat near the fire, carving a piece of wood, eyes never lifting. "Because someone helped me once, before I lost myself." Silence hung between them. She looked at him, really looked this time, not a monster, just a man with tired eyes and rough hands who'd carried her out of the dark. "Thank you," she said, and her eyes closed again. Outside, the wind howled across the hills, but inside, for the first time in a long time, someone had found shelter. The sun hung low behind, the hills bleeding orange into the dirt. Elias rode into town slow, hat pulled down, coat collar up. He wasn't looking for trouble, but trouble always seemed to smell like whiskey and gunpowder. And tonight, it stank. At the general store, he picked up what Clara needed. Liniment, gauze, dried apples. Martha had written it all down. As he tied the bundle to his saddle, a familiar voice curled through the dust like a snake. "Well, I'll be damned. Elias Brandt." He turned. Jed Colton leaned against a post, boots scuffed, smile mean. His eyes were bloodshot, lips twisted. A revolver hung heavy on his hip. Elias didn't flinch, just stared. Jed stepped closer. "You seen a girl running through here? Pretty little thing. Brown hair, bare feet. She's mine." Elias's voice was flat. "Ain't nothing belongs to you, Jed." Jed chuckled low and dirty. "You got her, don't you? Hiding her in that cabin of yours like some damn saint." He spat at the dirt. "You always thought you were better than the rest of us. Preaching with that limp like it meant something." Elias stepped forward, boots crunching slow. "You're drunk, and I ain't in the mood." Jed's hand hovered near his pistol. "She's my blood." Elias's eyes didn't move. "You laid hands on that girl again, you won't see another sunrise." A silence thickened. Men nearby froze mid-step. Even the horses went still. Jed's smirk cracked, but he backed off, muttering curses as he disappeared into the saloon, bottle already half raised. Elias stood there a moment longer, watching the dust settle. Back at the ranch, Clara sat by the window. She hadn't said much all day, but she felt it, the shift in the air, like something wicked had passed nearby. When Elias returned, he didn't say a word, just started boarding up the windows, one nail at a time. Clara finally asked, "Was it him?" He nodded once. Her hands trembled. "Then he knows I'm still alive." Elias set the hammer down, looked her in the eyes. "He knows. But he don't know who he's up against." The trail to Dry Creek wound through scorched earth and sun-bleached rock, quiet as a prayer. Elias rode it with purpose, jaw set, rifle strapped tight. Dust's hooves clacked against stone like a ticking clock. Time was running out. The sheriff's office sat lopsided at the edge of town, its porch sagging like the man inside it. Sheriff Carter looked up from his desk as Elias stepped through the door, spurs clicking. "Brandt," Carter grunted, setting down his tin coffee cup. Ain't seen you since the winter flood. Didn't come for pleasantries, Elias said, voice like gravel. I need a warrant for Jed Colton. Carter's brow furrowed. Again? She's got bruises, Carter. Cuts. Scars that didn't heal right. Girl came crawling out of them woods near dead. She was buried beneath leaves, for God's sake. The sheriff leaned back in his chair, sighing. I don't doubt it. But you know how this works. You want justice? You need her to speak. Stand in court. Name him. She's barely got the strength to walk, Elias snapped. Then there's not a damn thing I can do. Not yet. Silence stretched thick between them. Carter looked away, ashamed but unmoved. Elias turned to go, then stopped. He comes for her again, and the law don't show. I won't wait for a badge. Carter met his gaze. I hope you won't have to. Back at the ranch, Clara sat on the porch steps, staring at the horizon. The Bible page rested in her lap, edges curled from fire and rain. Elias dismounted, walked over slow. Sheriff says it has to come from you. She didn't answer. He can't be stopped without your voice, your truth. Her hands curled into fists. What if no one believes me? What if he walks? Elias knelt beside her. Then we drag him back again, and again, until someone does. She looked up, eyes rimmed red but steady. She unfolded the Bible page, smoothing it flat. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. No, she whispered. Not this time. She stood. I'll testify. And just like that, the silence lifted. A storm was coming, but this time she wouldn't run. Night fell sharp and fast over the valley, the sky bleeding black as the wind died. Elias stood by the front window, lantern dimmed, rifle resting in the crook of his arm. The house was too quiet. Even the crickets had gone still. Then dust snorted, low, uneasy. Elias stepped outside, gaze fixed on the ridgeline. 4 riders emerged from the dark. Torches. The lead horse carried Jed Colton, mouth twisted in a grin, eyes glinting like a man who'd already decided how this would end. 3 men flanked him, drifters with mean eyes and calloused hands, guns slung loose. Trouble rode with them. Elias stepped off the porch, shotgun in hand. Jed's voice rang out, slurred and sharp. Evening, Brant. Heard you been keeping something of mine. Elias didn't blink. You're trespassing. Just came to collect what's mine. Jed held the torch high. You hand her over, we ride off quiet. You don't. This whole shack goes up in smoke. From inside the cabin, Clara crouched beneath the floorboards, hand clamped over her mouth. Martha knelt beside her, whispering a prayer. Jed laughed. You know I always get what I want. Elias lifted the shotgun. Not tonight. Jed sneered. Suit yourself. He hurled the torch toward the barn. Flames caught dry hay like it had been waiting to burn. The horses screamed. One of the thugs fired a shot into the air. Another aimed at the windows. Elias fired back, glass shattering, buckshot tearing into the dark. The night exploded with smoke and screams. The porch rail splintered beside him. He ducked, reloaded, kept firing. Inside, Clara gripped the revolver Elias had left her, hands shaking, eyes wild. I should go out there, she whispered. No, Martha hissed. You stay. He wants you to panic. The fire spread. Gunfire crackled louder than thunder. Jed's men took cover behind fence posts, one yelling, We didn't sign up for this. Elias's breath came heavy. He was outnumbered, outflanked. Still he stood in that doorway like a stone. I ain't giving her back, he muttered. A shot tore past his cheek, and still he didn't flinch.